You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast and YouTube show. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and joining us today, as he does every Tuesday for Charlie Tuesday, Charlie 5, legendary Auburn message board poster. How are you?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. Glad to be live and in color.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome to the YouTube page. You've been doing YouTube for a while now with Dad Bod Golf Pod. You guys do a great job with that. We're broadcasting live from the patio at Baumhower. So I've had to kind of change what we do on these typical Monday nights where we record here due to the nature of adding video. You're actually sitting a few tables away from me because our mics were picking each other up. But, hey, we're here. We're doing this thing.
A little awkward. We got several tables taken up. But, hey, we're going to get through this. It's going to be awesome.
Yes. And shout out to listener Wayne, who came out and is eating dinner with his family here at Baumhower's as well. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about, dude. Yeah. We have a ton of things to talk about. Talked about the scrimmage yesterday a lot with Lindsay. Would love to hear your thoughts. What are you hearing about everything that went down Saturday night for Auburn's first scrimmage of fall camp?
I mean, the biggest thing, I just love first scrimmage freakouts. Those are the best, especially for message board land. If one team does better than the other, obviously we suck on that side of the ball. So that's been kind of fun to watch, just complete overreactions over the first scrimmage. And then people trying to fight those people that are overreacting with underreacting the other way. So it's been fun. Been a fun, predictable but fun.
So are people overreacting about the poor offensive line play?
I think so. I think that there's been a lot of panic, and maybe understandably so, I guess. But at the same time, I've seen some stuff and talked to some people that were there, and I think when you see a performance like that, you have to know the full context of what's going on. Like when Bo throws an interception, like is that a fourth down play? We're trying to just throw one up, make a play. Is it like what's all going on? And the more and more I hear and read between the lines, it seems like they were really trying to put a lot of pressure on the offensive line. I think we started off with like 4 or 5 play action passes in a row. Like we're not gonna do that in a game. Like you're not gonna call 4 or 5 play action passes right. Slow developing when you have a weak offensive line. Just doing things. Jaleel Irvin was in there at guard, which he's probably not going to be a starter.
Why do you think they did that?
Well, I think there may be some different. There's maybe a little bit of a medical thing going on with a few people that they're just temporarily out experimenting people in at certain spots, but trying to see what fits. But like I said, I think you just got to know the full context of what's going on. And I'm not saying I do, but at the same time, like you can't, and not everything is just so binary. Like we got it was just 2 interceptions. It was completely poor play, poor decisions. Right. First scrimmage, just gotta wait and see what happens after that.
No, I'm glad you're more level-headed about this than I am, because I'm hearing a lot of people say, "Hey, it's still so early in fall camp. A lot can change." And while that is true, we are still early in fall camp, but we play in 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks. And so it's like, how early is it?
Well, I think Jay Ferg had a really good take on it. And I listened to their podcast Sunday, and he talked about how, if you're just being honest, we expected the defense to be way ahead of the offense. And we hoped that the offense would make some plays, but probably not be very consistent. Breaking in new receivers. The offensive line has not been performing well the last couple of years. And I honestly think that's what we got. We got a dominant defensive performance. The offense did make plays on all 3 levels, first, second, and third team. And, showed flashes. We had receivers that are, kind of starting to make the next step. Not a lot of consistency. I think that's kind of what, if you really think about what if you had to write it down, what you expected to get out of the scrimmage, I think probably what we expected happened. And
there's a car alarm going off here at Baumhower's.
Someone's stealing a car. So there's a car being stolen right now. Oh, it's safe. It's safe.
Security here at Baumhower's top notch. They stopped the car.
Top notch.
Yep.
It was a sniper. Put somebody down. It was amazing.
Shout out to Baumhower's for making that happen. You lost your train of thought here.
I'm a complete wreck right now. No, but I'm just saying, like, basically, if we had to sit down and predict how that scrimmage would play out, I think it pretty much played out kind of how we expected it to. Like, so the way I look at it is we're kind of maybe right on track with I guess where we would expect to be.
Harsin was very high on the wide receivers. That was good. Talked about how much they've improved since spring. And I mean, that's something we've heard time and time again, right, over the course of fall camp was, hey, the wide receiving core, a lot of questions, a lot of talent, not a lot of experience. And they're slowly getting their feet up under them. And I think there's a lot of things to be excited about here. For sure.
We haven't heard a lot from Javarius Johnson, and he supposedly had, a big game, which kind of we expected from like the spring, and seeing him, in high school and how well he played, sort of kind of continue to develop through his redshirt year. He sort of, he had a big scrimmage, and then I think I'm really excited. I feel like they try not to say too much, but the D-Rob, the kid from Georgia, I think he made several plays, dumps over the middle that he made some plays after the catch, and that is exciting. That's something we need. Worried about, can he gel early enough? Can he learn the playbook? And it seems like he's going to be a big factor moving forward. And I don't know. I just feel like we haven't heard a lot about receivers making plays, and in this scrimmage, a lot of guys. You heard a lot of names, not just.
Elijah Kenyon scored a touchdown.
Capers made a big play ran a really good route on like an out and up, and Bo hit him on like the 1 yard line. And then, Shivers punched in after that. But yeah, I mean, multiple names making plays. That's exciting to me.
Sure. Before we wrap up our conversation about the scrimmage from Saturday, Jarquez Hunter was a non-participant. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes. I'm not going to say a whole lot. I'm just going to say that it's not an injury and should be back relatively soon. So I was
talking with someone close to a family member of the team, and this player did not participate.
Yes.
And it is not Jarquez Hunter. I do not know Jarquez Hunter's family. But there were players that were out due to COVID.
Right.
I don't think they have COVID, but I think it was a contact tracing type situation. So
yeah,
we'll leave it at that. We don't know anything, but I was told that by at least one parent.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect Jarquez Hunter to be out too much longer.
Yeah. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Frisky Whiskey. I love Frisky Whiskey. Charlie 5, you love Frisky Whiskey because it's only like a 15 or 20-minute drive from the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County area. Right when you cross into the state of Georgia, you take that first exit on the right, you'll see billboards all over the place for Frisky Whiskey, and you'll step in there, and it's like, whoa, 10,000 square feet of awesome selection. You got to love that. You absolutely have to love that. And, I mean,
they'll go to the back room. They'll go to the back room for you, too. Just ask
them.
They
will. You've made them do it. And they were happy to do it because Frisky Whiskey has awesome service. Super great prices. You'll be blown away by it. Check out our friends at Frisky Whiskey. Also, today's show brought to you by our friends at rockauto.com. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car, truck, or SUV. Right, Locked On Auburn in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. Charlie 5, Thursday will be a very, very big day for Auburn on the recruiting front. You've got a few names you want to talk about.
Yeah, so Thursday's going to be a fun day, guys. August 19th. We should have at least 2 commitments in 2 different sports. I guess you could say one of them could be considered for both sports, but I think he's going to end up being a complete 100% basketball guy before it's all said and done. But you got Trey Donaldson, who is Bruce's basically he's pegged him as his number 1 point guard. He's going to be popping sometime around lunchtime on Thursday. he absolutely dominated some summer tournaments. Like he's a football guy, so like spring was football. You know, he played football and this, that, and the other. And then the summer he finally got to play some AAU stuff, and he just absolutely dominated. His rankings are going to absolutely skyrocket when the next ranking updates go out. Trey Donaldson, he'll be our point guard of the future. He's a 4-star safety as well. They'll probably count him for the class. I don't see him playing football. I think he's pretty much decided basketball's going to be his deal. And then another for sure commitment we should get is Omari Kelly from Hewitt Trustful, a 6'2", 6'3" wide receiver, big top end speed, probably going to be an outside wide receiver guy, 4-star. We've been on a roll of 4-stars lately, and then this is just another one. He's got big offers, Alabama, you name it. He's got an offer from them. And I think playing time's a big deal for him, and he sees the opportunity here, and he believes in what he's being told about what to expect from the offense, and starting off with a huge wide receiver class, and then we'll just have to see where it goes from there. But you got Jay Fair, and you got your speed inside guy, you got a speedy outside guy, and then hopefully after the Akron game we land another big time receiver in Darius Clemens out of Oregon.
I mean, that would totally transform the look of this class if Auburn was able to bring in some of these guys, especially those two big receivers.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we all know where Auburn was recruiting-wise just a few months ago. I mean, 2 months ago, this class looked totally different.
Picking up steam.
Ooh, I like that. No, it definitely feels like that, though. I mean, you're starting to believe going into some of these decisions that Auburn's in a good spot to actually win these things. And
yes.
I'm starting to get a good vibe about Clemens as well. I don't like that one as much as the other guys that you've talked about, but I still think there's a chance. I still think there's a chance there, especially when you look at Auburn just lost a ton of receivers, and now these guys are all coming in. And if I'm Brian Harston, it's like, look, I've given every single one of these dudes a legit shot to win,
for sure.
to win a job. I mean, we heard about Javarius Johnson. Time and time again. I mean, he has definitely become one of the crushes of fall camp.
Yeah, he's only a little bit Tavar. He's just Tavar-ish. He's just a little bit Tavar.
What a bad joke. That's terrible.
I've been waiting on that.
You nailed it, though. The execution was flawless. It was flawless. We got another basketball guy that you want to talk about too, right? Zion Cruz.
Yeah. So Zion Cruz, 5-star shooting guard. I'm not saying that he wants to come to Auburn, and I think there's, is he a good fit? This, that, and the other. He's asked to join the class a few times, and it's just amazing. I think that we've gotten to the point as a basketball program that we can take our time with 5-star top 15 type, talent.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
It's just crazy to me.
I know.
It's just
yeah, exactly.
Grasp that. I believe that it's happening. It's just wild to think about.
Yeah, but I'll say, watch out, because there's been a hard sell on him from Trey Donaldson. Trey Donaldson wants him. Trey Donaldson wants this guy to be his partner in crime. He wants him to be his guy that he's going to be dishing it to and scoring, because Zion is an elite scorer. He may not be there defensively yet or passing or this, that, and the other, but you know what? Neither was Bryce Brown. Bryce Brown was just a walking bucket. You get in the ball, and he makes buckets. And I think that's what this Zion Cruz kid could be. I'm really hoping that Trey and maybe some other guys that are on the team and the staff have gotten in Bruce's ear, and that they've done a good sell job, because he's also committing the 19th on Thursday. And if he joins as well, it could be an epic day for Auburn sports in general.
Why do you think Bruce is so hesitant about Zion Cruz?
I think that, like I said, he feels that Zion he's just a scorer. He's a natural scorer. It's sort of like a me ball type thing. Like, that's my game. I got to have the ball. I got to score. I'm not really looking to facilitate. And then the defense is big for Bruce too. And I think Zion's game right now is, I am a elite scorer of the basketball, and the rest of my game is not quite where Bruce wants it to be at this moment. But and he's a guy that's going to want to be one and go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's coming in, he wants to be here 1 year and go. Can you get everything that you need out of him to win championships in that 1 year when there's some skills that he may need some time to develop? I think that's kind of what he's looking. That might be kind of what he's looking at.
Charlie 5, did you know that 85% of people who play daily fantasy sports, they lose? Did you know that?
I figured those numbers had to work out kind of like that. So
yeah, the game is rigged against you. But our friends at Stat Hero, they have an awesome daily fantasy sports game. I think, in the past I've struggled with the other daily fantasy sports leaders. I love fantasy sports, but the daily stuff has always been interesting. But Stat Hero is changing the game. You can go to stathero.com/lockedon and play for free right now. And you get 3 times back on your first play. So the way it works is Stat Hero shows you their lineups and they dare you to beat them. So it's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. So be sure to check that out. They're giving you 300% match. That's unheard of. Go to stathero.com/lockedon, stathero.com/lockedon. Also, our friends at betonline.ag. It's the fastest and easy way to bet on all of your sports action. We talked about fantasy sports. Now we're talking about real sports here with BetOnline. Go to betonline.ag and use promo code LOCKEDON to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Charlie 5, we got a few minutes left here as we finish our broadcast here at Baumhower's. But Mondays and Tuesdays, Baumhower's is the place to be, especially if you have a family.
Absolutely. So Monday nights, you have BOGO to go. Buy one, get one coal fire pizza. The only coal fire pizza on the whole planet.
Universe.
We've done the research. Call in from work. Like, you're coming home from work, call in and say, hey, let me get 2 pizzas. I only want to pay for one of them. That's how BOGO works.
Yes.
Call it in, bring it home, fire it up.
Right.
Tuesday nights, best night of the week. Kids night.
Love it.
I'll be here. I'm here 2 nights a week. But Tuesday night is the game winner. Kids eat free, balloon animals, face painting. Just purchase an adult entree and you're ready to go. And it's,
I'm hearing the thumping. I'm looking over and you're just hitting the table because you're so excited.
I'm just like fired up. I'm just bam, bam, bam. Just fired up about it.
I love it.
So
I love it. You know what I'm fired up about?
What's that?
Another open practice, open to fans.
Can't wait, man.
August 28th, Brian Harsin. He did it in the spring. He's doing it. I guess that's 2 Saturdays from now, August 28th.
Be fun.
Yeah. Sounds like they're doing a lot of fan-related things outside of it, trying to simulate some sort of like a live game-like atmosphere, which I think is really cool. I love that he did the scrimmage so late to kind of simulate the starting time of their first game against Akron. I mean, he's just thinking of a lot of different details, Brian Harsin is, and I think that's really, really cool. And he's done a really good job of kind of like, trying to get community buy-in. I think he's really owned. He was on campus a lot yesterday as we record this on Monday with the first day back in classes, giving out 1-0 wristbands and taking pictures with students and Aubie and all of that. And I think that's really, really cool of him. Good for him. It's got a little bit of a Bruce Pearl type atmosphere. It reminds me a lot of what Brucey did when he got here.
He's definitely, I think he's definitely bought into the Bruce Pearl PR team. I think they've kind of branched out and said, hey, because, he was sort of a cold and, kind of just reserved when he first got here.
You're right.
And now like we're having fan practices and he's on, like you said, he's on campus and he's doing podcasts and he's doing different radio shows and things like that.
Right. Stuff
that he sort of acted like he wasn't really big on earlier. So it could be that he does this every year right before the start of the season, but he's definitely getting more involved, and that's only going to pay dividends and endear himself to the fans like Bruce has. Because when you have the fan base, when they like you, you can get away with a lot.
Your leash is a little bit longer. Yeah,
for sure.
You're right. I'm excited. I'm going to try to get something together for folks coming in town. Maybe we can all do a meetup or something. We'll figure that out later.
That'd be great.
We'll figure that out later. Sweet. I assume so. All right. I want to wrap this up with a kind of a question to you. Do you think the media is all, and I'm really hesitant to use the word scared, timid maybe, they avoided some really like layup questions Saturday. They didn't ask how Bo Nix did in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me. They would have asked Gus Malzahn that. And I think they would have asked Gus Malzahn, like, who didn't participate or why was a guy like Jarquez Hunter not there? They would have asked the question under Gus Malzahn. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree with that. But I think that the reason is I think there's been a lot of coaching on the front end of what to and what not to ask, similar to, a short little guy about 70 to 100 miles away across on the other state when he does a press conference. I think you're seeing some very similar things where, hey, don't even go there to begin with. So quit asking me.
You think that's a good thing? You think it matters?
I have no opinion one way or the other. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really bother me. You know,
because the answer we would have gotten about either of those situations, the two biggest storylines coming out of it, he wouldn't have given us an answer anyway.
Right.
So ask a question that he will answer.
Right. Let's just don't even do it. Hey, this is what we're not going to talk about. You're not going to ask me about who's over there jogging or who's on the bike at the. You're not going to ask about that. We're not going to talk about who's not here, and if there's something that they don't really want to go too far in depth, they're just going to go ahead and say, hey, we're not going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about Bo. We'll talk about D. Davis. We'll talk about him. We're not talking about Bo. We're not talking about I think it's probably pretty common, and I'd much rather have that than give me a fluff answer or like almost a complete lie to just be secret-y. You know what I mean? I'd rather you just not even like cut it off at the pass.
Right. So how can people find you and hear you, Charlie 5?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, _Charlie_5. You can find me at auburnlive.com, the corner message board, auburnsports.com, the bunker, Auburn 247 Sports Body Get Aboard, or you can listen to us daily on the Dad Bod Golf Pod. YouTube, social media, wherever you get your podcasts.
Awesome. Lost connection there, but I think everybody heard you. We're still figuring this out, guys. And our second day on YouTube is on the road. We'll figure it out. And for folks listening, thank you for continuing listening through some of these glitches and all that. So follow me on Twitter at Zac Blackerby, the show on Twitter at Locked On Auburn, and on Instagram at Auburn Podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.